Is it also live stream on YouTube?
Yes.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yes.
You send me the link.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll send you
stream
the link.
later.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So, hello everyone. This is Ron Majumdar. We did a lot of meetups with Mary. She used to work for IBM before. Now she's left us, but we're still doing the collaboration. We are still doing CJUG meetups, and we have two very exciting folks here as presenters: Bruno Souza and Vinicius Sanger, both from Brazil. And having said that, I'm going to hand you over.
All right then. Thank you, Ron. Yeah, I think without Ron, this meetup would not happen because Ron booked the room for us. So thank you very much, Ron, and at the last minute too. So thank you so much. Yeah, and then first of all, welcome everybody, and on a very kind of a rainy night to come out and just we have our winter time now. Everything's get dark sooner. So thank you very much. And of course, welcome, Bruno and Vinicius. Really happy for you to be here. And thank you for contacting us. I know it was last week. All of a sudden, I got the call from Silvio. So thank you, Silvio, for making the connection and saying that Bruno will be here, Vinicius. So I said, oh, let me see. And again, because of Ron, we get this space. So everything got put together kind of last minute. So pardon us if, kind of like, oh, we got to have folks helping us with the pizza and carrying all the drinks. So thank you. Okay, so with that, I'm gonna be quick so then I give more time. Obviously for Bruno, I don't steal the time too much from the two legendary speakers. So okay, so welcome to Chicago. So I name it like two talks because we have Bruno talk about more career development. One of his most popular talks to today. Then also finishes with Java, Cloud, AWS. So here we go. And first of all, just wanted to say, CJUG, we continue to stand with Ukraine. Actually, I'm going to add another one. We're standing to with world peace too, with all the stuff that's going around. So wanted to do kind of make a word about that. And today too, we'll have raffles at the end with two JetBrain licenses that we'll be raffling off. So if you're interested, this is the QR code and also the Bitly link over there too. And I'll be sharing this slide deck if you're interested. If you have not won anything within the past 9 months, you are eligible for entering because you get like a 1-year free use of their ultimate license too of any of the JetBrains products. So one of the products you can choose from. So okay, so that's that. And then also, too, just again, housekeeping, please join our tech Slack if you haven't already done it. Just connecting with like 10,000 people in the area now. And then with other groups too, not just CJUG. So also there's Freddie Gemate, our previous CJUG leader, and he's still doing the Java Off Heap, the podcast. Want to still kind of keep that alive in your mind, you can join that or listen to that. It's also on YouTube. And then also join us on meetup.com if you haven't already done so. And also, please follow us on X or Twitter, they used to be, so if you haven't already done so. And then also, we have our chat channel on Discord too. And this one is no longer new. I just set that up during the COVID time. So it looks like Discord is working better. So please feel free to join us there. And also, actually, let me go back a little bit because I wanted to mention every time, actually, I might not have make it obvious, but we usually like to create a channel. So then for speakers to kind of focus on the meetup, if you have any more questions or follow up or any kind of conversation, you can make use of this channel too, and then get connected with the speakers too. And today we've set this one up. Usually I name it by the date and then also the name of the speakers and the topics too, accordingly. So. And then some community info. We are a community partner of the following groups, right? defitjobs.us if you're looking for new jobs. We are developers, it's like World Congress, but they are based in Germany, but they also are opening up for the world. They have online conferences as well. JCon, actually also based in Germany, they also run like online conference. And in fact, there will be one the week of Thanksgiving too. So they are giving out free tickets for JUG members too. So be sure to visit them, and if you'd like to join them online, is there. And also Developer Week, they also have a set of conferences that they're giving out like discount codes. Also JetBrains, which will be raffling off 2 licenses today. So. And then upcoming events next week, in fact, on Thursday, November 16th, we'll be having Temporal, the company that they do distributed computing orchestrator. And so it's kind of a nice thing, I think, with their way. If you're not familiar with it, if you're interested in distributed computing, they'll be doing like a collaboration with Kin and Carter, which is this consulting firm has a presence in Chicago as well. So we will be having the in-person meetup there at Kin and Carter. So, and also in December we have a speaker from Digma too. They do like open telemetry thing too. So I'm still gonna in the process of confirming that. So that will be in December if confirmed. And then other confirmed speakers, we still have Venkat, but Venkat, Alina, all these folks, but people are so busy, just haven't been able to find time yet. But they are definitely will be here maybe in 2024 at this point. And then we also still thinking of an unmeetup, kind of unconference style kind of meetup. If you're interested, you can feel free to suggest to topics, for example. And also, if you are interested in speaking at CJUG, you are all welcome to do so too. And send us your proposal to present at cjug.org. Let's say if you are interested in speaking but not sure, you like to get some idea and bounce off ideas or getting us, some help from us, we are always open to help you as well. So feel free to reach us if you need information on if you are interested in becoming a speaker. For job seekers and also recruiters, I don't think there are any recruiters today. We have our CJUG group on LinkedIn, so please join us there if you're interested. Yeah, and I think some people are taking pictures, so yeah, okay. Again, I'll be sharing this slide deck too, in case you miss it. So okay, and then also wanted to remind you again, we have JFrog as our silver level sponsor for this year. Also, we have also Fusion Auth too. We have two silver sponsors, so they are continuing to support us and also other JUGs too. But want to highlight the Atlanta JUG, Boston Java User ACM Chapter, Garden State JUG of New Jersey, Kansas City JUG in Missouri, New York Java SIG, the oldest JUG in the U.S., and also Pittsburgh JUG. These are like kind of like our friends of us and many other friends as well in the world. Okay, so now it comes to introducing our special speakers, our legendary Bruno Souza, the Brazilian Java man. Yeah, yeah. So very quick thing, I think without too much word, but you are the founder of the largest JUG in Latin America and also of the world too, and you're just amazing with the So Java. You are the co-founder of the Java Champions program as well. Yes, and founders of many organizations that benefit developers all over the world. So thank you very much, Bruno. Yes, and yeah, thank you. And also just quick word before I get to it, will be Vinicius Sanger, also from Brazil, but now with AWS Cloud Java. Yeah. Based in California now, right? Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much, and you are actually founder of the biggest conference in the world, TDC, in Brazil, right? Yeah, that's right. Because I was there virtual. That was 23,000 people. That was amazing. Yeah. So that is really amazing. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh. Okay, yeah, so you are a specialist from AWS, and thank you very much for coming. And now the stage is all yours.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you so
Bruno,
much.
thank you.
All right.
I'll put this over back here.
So one thing I like to say, right, is that this whole thing that we're able to do is possible because of people like Mary, right? I talked to Silvio, and he's one of the organizers of CJUG, and I talked to Mary, and they just put this whole thing here together, right? So thank you for them. Thank you for CJUG for receiving me. You guys always receive me amazingly well. But also, this is only possible because of you. If you don't come, no one organizes anything, right? We believe that if you have that movie, The Fields of Dreams, right? That build and they will come. That's not how it works, right? It's because you come, we build, right? So thank you so much, all of you, for being here. And of course, I gotta thank Vinicius. AWS is helping us out on making this trip possible. This is just the first stop. I just arrived from Brazil this morning. This is the first stop from here. We're gonna do the Garden State Java Group in New Jersey, and then we go to Houston Java Group in Houston, Texas, and then we go to Jacksonville Java Group in Jacksonville, Florida, and then we're gonna do the Silicon Valley Java Group in San Francisco, right? So the next couple of weeks, going to go to the four corners of the U.S. because it's so important, guys, that we get back, we start meeting people again, and it's being these groups have been slow. Right? We talked for people that were here in the very beginning. We're talking about it's once you go, you work at home, it's harder for you to come downtown for easy group meeting. Right? So it's amazing that you guys are here. We're not transmitting live. We're gonna put it available later, right?
No, it's live actually.
It's live. Okay, so
yeah, it's live on.
yes, all right.
Yes.
So for the people live there, right? It's amazing that you're here. So thank you very much. Is there a chat that people can talk to, or no? There's a chat?
No.
No.
Sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Next time we'll do that.
All right. Okay. So, but no, it's on YouTube, right?
Yes, it's on
Okay.
YouTube.
So if I'm gonna log into YouTube later to see your messages in the chat. And so if you are watching this live, you can send us questions on the chat, and we're gonna try to answer that, right? So we're gonna make this very, very interactive. And last but not least, I want to thank IBM and again
Ron.
Right, Ron. Because your name is Arunava.
Arunava, that's my real name, but
That's your name.
everyone calls me Ron.
All right,
so
so Ron.
just go with Ron.
So let me thank Ron and IBM for hosting us here, right? It's amazing. That's one of the things I love most about the Java community, right? So we have lots, I'm on the board of the JCP, the Java community process. Amazon is on the board of the JCP. IBM is on the board of the JCP. And so I know we actually, Sun had this. Sun doesn't exist anymore, right? So we can always talk good and bad things about Sun, right? But Sun had this saying that I love it, right? Because Sun would call Java a co-petition, right? Because we cooperate on the standards and we compete on implementations, right? So I think the JavaScript groups kind of represent that. Because the JavaScript groups is exactly that. So we all cooperate to build the community, and then we fiercely compete to see who gets who, right? All right. So can you move
Yes.
this thing up here? So guys, I'm going to make this extremely interactive, right? So we're going to talk about I want to talk for about, let's say for about 15 minutes, and then I'll go for questions, right? Because I really want to do, what we're going to discuss here, the first thing we're going to discuss here today is about, the growing beyond senior, right? So for that, let me just ask one quick questions here. So I saw some people here students. So who here is a student? You're still at university, you're still studying. Okay, two people, right? Good. So you study students. That's good. All right. Now, and that can include the students, right? So who here is starting a career? You already have a job. You're already a professional. It might be your first or second job. You're starting a career. You have like 1, 2, 3 years of career. Who's in that situation? Okay, a few people already have a few years of career. We usually call those people juniors, but there's people that have 3 years of career that already have senior positions, but it's okay. We can talk more about that, right? So who here has a job as a mid-level developer, right? So you have 5 to 10 years of career, but your position is like mid-level developer. All right, some people. All right, so who here is a senior developer? Okay, all right, that's good. There's anyone here that considers yourself in a post-senior position? A couple of people say it's a post-senior position. Okay, that's good. All right, so that's what we're going to talk about, right? So for people that are starting in a mid-level positions, I'm going to show you what's possible, right? For senior people, that's the meat of the discussion here. Is what you do after you're senior. So the first thing I want to tell you is that when you reach out to what we call the senior positions, right? Those positions are awesome. You learn a lot of things. You know exactly what you're doing. Okay, so is people complaining online or no?
Not yet.
Not yet. All right, so, okay, so is that working now? What do you think? Pretty good now? Okay, cool. All right, so hopefully I was able to listen a little bit, right?
Hopefully.
Not too bad.
A little distant, but
All right, but that's the right time to get started anyway, right? Okay, so the whole idea of beyond senior positions, the whole idea of when you get to senior, right? Lots of people think that this kind of that's the end of the road, right? There's nothing more to do beyond that. But that's what we're going to discuss here today. What is possible to do beyond senior, right? I see. I used to say that they had 4 paths, but actually today I say that it's like 5 main paths to go beyond senior. And that's the thing I want to discuss with you. Is there a pen here? Pen. All right. So let me see which pen here we can work that you guys are going to see it. So can you guys see this? Good? All right. So this is kind of, this one here might be a bit better. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to get a couple of those here. All right. So, so that's what we're going to discuss here today. What we can do growing beyond senior, and what are the paths that people take, right? And there's all kinds of possibilities to do here. I know some of the people here are already doing some of those possibilities. For people that are starting, it's good for you to know what's possible, so you can start thinking about what you want to do in the next several years, right? And for people that are senior, but the thing I was going to say before we noticed the microphone was that, you know, you can stay as a senior for a long time, right? I was talking the other day with this guy from Germany, and he was a senior developer when he was working with Java 1.2. So he basically is a senior developer for more than 20 years. And, you know, he gets more money, you know, his salary gets increased, and he works on different projects, and he's happy with it, right? We discussed what he wanted to do, and he doesn't want to change anything. He likes what he's doing, and he continues to be a senior developer, and that's good, right? It's not a problem. So that's the first thing you have to understand. It's not a problem. But there are some people that want to do something different, right? And so that's what we're going to discuss about here. So what we see as possibilities beyond senior, right? So basically, you know, the idea is, right, and that's not a good pen. Let me just, okay, I thought it was, but nope. Okay, this looks good. All right. So hopefully red is not too bad for the camera. All right. You know, so basically we go here from juniors, trainees, juniors, mid-level, whatever, and then we get to a senior level, right? And so this can just be the beginning of a lot of different things, right? So here are what I see the 5 paths that people have been taking on growing beyond senior. The first path is what I call the people path, right? That many people call the management path. Okay? That's where you become a manager. Okay? So that path is basically, you know, you become a manager, and then you become a director, right? And then you might become, for example, a vice president, right? That's a normal path. I call the people path the easiest path. Not because it's easy. All 5 paths are extremely hard. And I'm going to tell you why all of them are hard. But it is the easiest one because it's the one the companies want you to take, right? Companies know exactly what to do here. You get a good technical person, you get him a manager, you train him. You know, there's lots of trainings for that path. You know how to you know, upgrade him, right? How to give him a raise, how those raises work. You know all these, right? So that's very well known. This path exists in absolutely every single company in the planet. Okay? So that's why I call it the easiest one. Not because it's easy, but it's just because it's the easiest. It's the one that if you don't do anything, people are just going to put you on it, right? Okay? And a lot of it, many times, actually, let me just say here, that's a people management path, right? So it's not, the path is that one right there. Okay. And the problem arises because many senior developers, many senior technical people, they don't want to do that, right? You know, I don't want to be a manager. I don't want to manage people. If you don't want to do that, then, yes, like Vinicius, I don't want to do that thing. And if I don't want to do that, then I'm just going to stay senior because I don't want to go to this path, right? So let's see what the other paths are for. And of course, the management path is that a manager has multiple juniors and seniors and mid-levels, right? A director manages multiple managers. A VP manages multiple directors. I mean, this path is a hierarchical path, right? Okay, now the second path, right? I call it the technical path. Okay, so now there is a name for this path that is very recent. In the middle of the pandemic, there's a book that came out called Staff Engineer. And that book defined it for the first time what this path is called. And people today call the Staff Plus path. Why the Staff Plus path? Because it's staff plus the rest, right? And that path is exactly starts by this, right? So you become what we call a staff engineer, and then you grow to become a principal engineer or principal developer, and then you grow to become a distinguished engineer or developer. Okay? Now, there are parallels between those two paths, right? First of all, the technical path is usually, it exists for a long time, but we just didn't have a good name for it, right? That path is usually exists on companies. There are technical companies, for example, like IBM, like Amazon, like Sun, like Apple, companies that have a lot of technical people, usually companies that were built by technical people. So they want to grow, right? So they want a path to grow, but they don't want to be managers. So that path here, you have no management positions. That means there's no one under you. Okay? So you grow. Now, this path has parallels. The staff engineer has a similar level as the manager. Similar responsibilities, similar salaries, right? Similar compensation, but you don't have reports. You don't manage anyone. Same thing, the principal is similar to a director, right? The distinguished is similar to a VP. Now, those names here are not the only names. People have just, there's companies that only have principal, don't have staff. There are companies that have, that principal comes before staff. There are companies that don't have distinguished and call something else. At Sun, for example, we used to call distinguished a fellow, right? So it was a Sun fellow was what we call today a distinguished engineer. So for example, you guys are, I didn't ask that, but since it's the CJUG, I assumed a lot of you had at least some interest in Java, right? So as a Java developer, you might know this guy named James Gosling, right? He worked with Vinicius those days, right? James Gosling is the guy that created Java, is considered the father of Java. So James was a Sun fellow at Sun, right? So as a VP level, he had no reports. No one reported to James. Actually, James had one person report to him. That was his admin, right? And I proposed that she manage him and not he manage her, right? Yeah, right? And so, but that's the reality, right? So the distinguished engineer, you don't have reports. That's the whole thing that is here. Okay, make sense? Right? So for example, when I work at Sun, I was a director level at Sun, right? I reported to a vice president, right? Have you guys heard of GraalVM? Right? So GraalVM was created inside a department of Sun called the Sun Labs. I was part of the Sun Labs. I reported to the Sun fellow that managed the whole, but that was responsible for the whole Sun Labs. I reported to him, but I didn't report to him actually, right? I report to someone else that was actually the manager, and but that guy, the Sun fellow, he was just responsible for the whole thing, right? So those positions here, guys, are positions with more influence, more responsibility, more impact in the company, but not necessarily management people. Make sense? All right? So those words remember those words, right? Influence, responsibility, impact. That's what you're doing. That's why you grow in your company, because you increase influence, you increase your responsibility, you increase the impact that you have in different paths. Okay? So that is, now, I used to, this path, the technical path, when I was in J-Crete early this year, I realized that it's better if we split this path in two paths. I used to say just this one here, but today I split this in two because I think it makes more sense. There's another path that's similar to this one here that I call it the marketing path. Okay? So that path here is the path of you doing, there's no other name, right? So I just call it the marketing path, right? This path is the path that's, I'm going to say marketing /HR. Okay? So that path is the path where you increase your level of influence inside the company by being the technical person, the developer, for example, the engineer in a different department, right? So it could be HR, could be sales, right? You know, there's all kinds of departments that needs what you're doing, right? But then you can have a high influence, a high responsibility, but in those other departments. So that path will have something, it's not like a hierarchy like this anymore, but you have things like, for example, community manager, community manager, things like an evangelist, right? Evangelist, or of developer relations, right? DevRel positions, you know, those are positions, probably the position that Vinicius holds today, right? Positions where, you know, for DevRel, you are actually working with the marketing department, but you're very technical, you're a developer, right? But you're working with the marketing department, right? So you could be a community manager working with the HR department. Your responsibility being to bring more people into the company, for example, right? And you're going to be a very technical person working on more responsibility, more impact, but you're going to be working with the HR department to bring people for the company, for example, right? You can also be working with sales. I mean, like a lot of pre-sales engineers, for example, could be in that position, right? So you might have your official position inside the company might be things like staff, principal, distinguished, but your role is more like a community manager, a evangelist, or DevRel, or something similar like this. Make sense? So that path, this is an awesome path, by the way, guys, right? Because it gets you a lot. Usually, this is a path that is external to the company, right? You talk to people outside the company. But some really large companies have those positions internal. You know, you are community manager internal to the company. You help developers in the company, for example. You help the open source initiatives of the company, right? So that is what I call the marketing HR sales. You know, those two here are a little bit, you know, they're not so clearly separated, okay? Now, there's two more paths that I like to mention here. So those three paths here are company path, right? So they're usually inside the company, right? And usually, but not always, they are exclusive. It's very hard for you to be a manager and a community manager, right? You know, but they can work together in some situations, right? You know, people that want to be staff, principal, distinguished, they don't want to manage anyone. So usually you're not a manager, but in some companies they mix a little bit. That's not a problem. And you can change. Right? I mean, you can be a director of a company and then become the distinguished engineer and not manage anyone anymore, right? So those paths, they kind of work together. They're usually paths inside the company. There's two other paths here that I think you guys should consider. They are parallel. You can do them no matter what your company is doing. You can do this inside your company if you want to, but you can do them outside of your company also in parallel, right? And the first one of those is what I call the independence path, right? That is the path of where you're going to be yourself. You're going to be an independent, right? And that are things like, for example, you become a consultant, right? Like Silvio, for example, is a consultant. you become, and Silvio is an independent consultant, right? He does not, there's some consultants that work for a company that allocates you at some other places, right? Silvio allocates himself, right? So he's an independent consultant, right? You know, things like instructor, for example, many people will make very good living, very good life being an instructor, right? You can be a freelance, right, where you're responsible for getting your own clients or something like this, right? So that is the independence path. I think that on software development, the more you grow, the more you will want to have the independence path, right? Because it comes to a moment that you're so good at something that there's no single company that needs you, right? Unless it's a company like Amazon or like IBM that have such a huge workloads and such a huge sophisticated projects. But usually you get to a level where you need to work, you know, for example, you're a security consultant, right? I mean, there's no one company that will actually going to need everything you know, and so you might have to work for multiple companies to be able to focus on your area, like security area, for example. Okay, so, and I think that's a good path for us, for software development. Now, there's a fifth path, right, that I call the entrepreneurship path. Entrepreneur path, right? And here is that, you know, it's you build a company. It's not you, because here, the independence path, you are your own product. You sell yourself, right? But you can build a company, right? You know, you can start your own startup, right? You can be a CEO or a CTO of an existing startup, right? So, you know, something that you build a product to make money out of a product. Okay? Those two things are, this is independent, you use yourself. This here, you might have a team, you might have other people, you're part of a team. So, those two paths here, they're more independence path, and they are parallel, right? So you can be a CTO for a startup at the same time that you work as a manager for another company. Or you can be a CEO for a startup at the same time that you are DevRel for another company, right? You know, so those other paths here are more independent. You can do those things. Make sense? So I haven't seen, there's so many opportunities in the world, right? I'm sure there's someone doing something different, right? But that's what the majority of people are doing when they become senior, what they do after that, right? What are the possibilities they do after that? And so if anyone has other ideas, I'm very happy to consider. So you have, as I said, the management path. There's lots of books about that, right, that you can do. The technical path, right, there's at least one book that explains exactly this path, right? But this whole vision here, it's not clearly defined anywhere, right? So I think that's important for you to consider what you can do. There's a lot of opportunities, guys. So don't consider if you become a senior, that's the end of the line. It's not at all. That's the beginning of a lot of possibilities. Make sense? Now, one last thing here, and then I'm going to go for questions. What are common things, some common skills and common things that we need in all those paths here, right? Those paths are paths of larger influence. I said here, right? Large influence, larger responsibility, larger impact, right? Why larger impact? For example, if you are, let's say, if you are a principal distinguished engineer and you make a definition inside your company, that definition is going to impact every single developer in your company, for example, right? So you have a much larger impact. All of those positions here, you're not working on a single project. You're not responsible for just kind of sitting down and writing your code and that's it, right? You have more responsibility. You have more things. Everything that you do has a bigger impact, right? But there's a few interesting, important things that we have to do. One of them is one thing that we call autonomy. Those are positions of larger autonomy. And autonomy is a very weird thing. Because autonomy, either you have it or if you don't have it, no one can give you. Because if you don't have it, you don't deserve to have it. Right? Because autonomy is your ability, your capability of doing what you think that needs to be done. So if you don't have autonomy, if you're not capable of doing the things that you think needs to be done, no one can say, I'm going to give you autonomy. Right? So it's a very weird thing. It's something that either you take it, you prove that you have it, right? Or no one gives to you. And that makes those positions very, very hard and complicated. Because there's no clear definition what they do. None of them, right? There's no clear thing that, oh, if you're a manager, you're going to do that. Well, actually, from all of those here, maybe the manager is the one that has a little bit more defined, right? But everything else here, you don't know. You have to make a decision. You have to go after what needs to be done. You have to go grab that thing for you, right? And that is hard. It requires a level that maybe you don't want to have that, and that's okay. That's why being a senior is a good thing to be, right? Not everyone wants to go after and figure out. So let me give an example. I was having a Twitter space the other day, and a friend of mine from Red Hat was participating in the Twitter space, right? And Red Hat is a company, I'm not sure about IBM and Amazon, but I'm going to use that Red Hat as an example. It's a company that has very clear defined process here. Very clear defined. There's a document that explains what is a staff engineer, what is a principal engineer, what is a distinguished engineer, what you need to do to be all those things. And then I asked my friend, so you have that process, right? So how clear it is? And he said, it's not clear at all. Every person does something different. And that's the problem with all those positions. They're all different. There's no clear way. There's no clear definition. There's nothing. I mean, there might be something here and there. Some companies might be a little bit more formal and more specific than others. But in general, those positions here are not clear. You have to go figure it out yourself. You have to discuss with your manager. You have to discuss with HR. You have to figure it out. And a lot of those positions, especially in companies that don't have those positions. Because in companies that don't have those positions, right, then you have to explain to your boss that you want to be a principal engineer, right? And you have to tell him what you're going to do, how you're going to take your autonomy, how you're going to do the things that need to be done. That's why those positions are more complicated. Make sense? So now, in terms of skills, there's a few skills. They're very important, right? So I'm just going to mention at least one here. One of the most important skills you have here is communication. Right? All of those positions are positions with high levels of communication. Also, there are positions with high level of visibility. Okay? Why? Because you do what you want to do, or look, it's not what you want to do, it's what you believe is the right thing to do based on the company, what the company needs, right? So you do the things that you are thinking are important, and that means that you have to communicate very well why that thing is needed, why you're doing it, right? And you have to give visibility to what you're doing. Because if you don't give visibility to what you're doing, no one understands why you're doing that thing, right? And so those are some of the things that you got to have to do. And especially for those two here, but also for every one of them, there is a skill that developers hate. The developers think that's the evil skill of the planet. But I think you guys should take a little bit out of that, because it's a very important skill. That is sales. Right? You know, the skill of selling, it's not forcing people to give you their money. Right? The skill of selling is about, let me try to change your perception about sales. Right? The guys just arrived here. What the hell is this guy? Isn't it a Java group? Isn't it a Java talk? What is this guy talking about sales? So here's I'm going to try to change your perspective about sales, right? Really quick. So to sell something, right, it's not about getting people's money, right? to sell something is to believe in the transformation of the other person before the other person is able to believe in their own transformation. Okay, so to sell is to believe in the transformation of the other person before the other person can believe in their own transformation. Because to sell, guys, is not about money, right? You sell an idea, you sell a project, you sell an open source project, you sell a new framework in your company. You sell ideas. Every single leader in the planet sells. Why? Because if you believe in something, you believe, for example, that being a community manager or an evangelist is the greatest thing ever, right? Or maybe you believe in Amazon, in their products, right? So you believe in the transformation that other people can have if they agree with your idea. See? So you have to sell to them the idea that that thing will really cause the transformation they need before they can actually believe themselves that that transformation can happen. So those are some of the skills, guys, that you're going to have. And you say, Bruno, where's the technical skills? The technical skills, they're here. You have them, right? That's the cool thing. Once you're a senior, you already have the technical skills. Of course, you can go deeper on them. Of course, you can go on more important projects. Of course, all of these is going to be true because you're going to have more impact. You're going to be participating in more important problems, but the technical skills, you already have them. Make sense? So here, I like to say, where's Vinicius? Now that I'm going to say something that Vinicius is going to find fun here, right? Because Vinicius loves music, right? So one of my claim of fames is that I've opened to Iron Maiden. Not once, not twice, but 3 times in my life. Right? Vinny's like, that's not true, man. Yes, it's true. I've opened to Iron Maiden. So Bruce Dickinson, the main singer of Iron Maiden, has come to Campus Party, Brazil, 3 times, right? And every single time that he came to give a talk there, I was the guy that was on stage right before him, bringing the audience in, discussing career with the audience, and then calling him on stage. So I've opened for Iron Maiden 3 times, right? The last one just happened like a month ago, right, in Manaus, right? And so here's one thing I want to tell about you to you that Bruce Dickinson talks on his talk. He says the following: the difference between a rock star and a normal musician. I know nothing about rock star because I know nothing about music, right? But Vinicius does, right? He even has a ukulele right there, right? So, I say that Bruce Dickinson knows a little bit about being a rock star, right? So he says the difference between a rock star and a normal musician, it's not the music. Because for you to be a musician, you have to have the music. Otherwise, you're not even part of the game. So he says the difference between the rock star and the normal musician is that the rock star does the rest, the things the normal musician doesn't do, right? So he does the show. He's an entrepreneur, right? He closes deals with other companies. He knows contracts. He knows the rest. Make sense? Vinicius, I just need a URL. Can you open a browser for me right there? Right, since you're right there. So that's the thing. The difference between a senior and a post-senior, it's not the technology, right? Because the technology you have to have. The difference is the rest, is the other things that you need to do. Make sense? So guys, now I want to think about you. When you think about any of those positions, what doubts you have? What question you like to discuss? What dream do you have to achieve here that you have no idea how to do? Because I have a few more minutes here just to help you out on whatever dream you have. Go ahead.
I just want to say first, like a really good talk.
Thank you.
Really engaging.
Thank you.
Could you explain maybe more of the technical to staff plus to staff plus? Like maybe an example, like what would separate like someone technical from senior?
Okay. All right. So that position here we call staff plus because it's staff plus the rest, right? So the first one is staff, right? So basically, the difference here is a lot about, I said, about responsibility impact, right? So for example, a senior developer, you might be responsible for one project, right? You do one, you know, that's what you do. You receive a piece of code that have to be done, or something like some, you know, some implementation that you have to do this week, for example, right? And then you sit down and you go do your code, right? So that's what a senior would do. A staff engineer, it's usually more responsible for, you know, you might be working on 2 different projects, right? Not only a single project. You might be responsible for something in 2 different projects. You might have to decide to have more responsibility in terms of deciding what is the more important thing you have to do, right? A principal engineer, it's usually someone that has more like a cross position, right? So you might be responsible for security in all the projects of the company, for example, several projects of the company. So you have more like a cross thing, right? And distinguish someone like James Gosling, for example. You become a VP, right? So there's no one above you, right? You just do whatever you want. Actually, I think James become a distinguished after he created Java, though. But you know, but I don't know. But no, so you're a VP. There's no one above you. There's no one telling you what to do, right? But you have the credibility. For example, imagine James Gosling. He can just walk in. Let's imagine about Sun. I don't know what James does today on Amazon, so Vinicius can talk about that. But imagine James Gosling at Sun, right? Sun was doing Solaris and Java and, you know, and hardware, right, and other things. James, as a vice president, he could just walk in a meeting about the next Spark processor and sit down and say, guys, I want to know what you guys are doing here in terms of threads, right? Because he's responsible to oversee how Java is going to run on threads on the new Spark chip, right? But he can just walk in anywhere and say, I want to work with you guys now on this, right? So that is more like a role responsibility. And a lot of times, guys, you guys are already doing things like this. So you might be responsible for more than one project, for example. You might be responsible for many projects in your company right now. But your company might not have those positions. You might be considered senior as in your position, right? You're senior. You might have a higher salary than other seniors, but because your company doesn't have those positions. Make sense? Does that help a little bit?
No, that's great.
Yeah. Okay. So some other things that you might take a look here. There are a few roles that we see on in all those positions here, right? Here's a more like in terms of responsibility and salary, these kind of things. But all of them have some kind of roles, right? So a few of the roles. I think there's 4 roles that we talk about. Those things here that I think are important for us to talk about, right? So one of them is for you to be a problem solver, right? So you're the guy that is you solve problems, right? So you're a specialist in security, for example. So any security problem in the company, you are the guy that gets called, right? You might be what lots of people call an architect, right? You know, so you're responsible for defining how things are going to be done in the company, right? You could be a tech lead, right? You know, a tech leader or team lead, for example, it's not a manager because you're not managing people, but you're the guy defining the technology. You're defining how things are going to be done, right? And the last one that people have is what we call the right arm. So you are the right arm of a director or a VP, right? So you're the technical guy that helps the director, the VP, to make the decisions, right? So those are 4 popular roles, right? Not the only ones, right? And they're not so clearly separated, but those are 4 popular roles that people have. Make sense, right? And so that should help you understand a little bit better. Okay. All right. Anyone else? Go ahead.
Another one that I would add that connects with the economy is navigating ambiguity.
Oh yeah, there's a yes.
There's a lot
There's a lot of things here, but navigating ambiguity. Actually, navigating ambiguity, I understand that, but there's one that's similar to what you're talking about. Is actually navigating the hierarchy, right? Is understanding what manager wants, or directors want, or VPs want, right? Because of autonomy, right, and more responsibility, you have to do the things the company needs you to do. So you're the guy that has to understand what the director is trying to do, what he's trying to accomplish, even if he does not really understand what he's trying to do, what he's trying to accomplish, right? You understand it and you implement technically what the company needs you to do, even though there's no one telling you what to do, right? But totally agree, right? So you exactly, you have to decide what to do. You have to decide what's more priority, right? You have to decide, what you should spend time investing right now, for example. Exactly. And of course, and that's why those positions are important, right? He gave a good example here. Who to bring in, right? But now, if you're a senior developer and you're reporting to a manager, right? And there's a security problem. So how do you do that, right? You ask your manager, say, hey boss, there's a security problem. Who do we need to reach? And so this guy has to interface with the whole hierarchy to bring the right people. But if you are a principal engineer, you're director of the company, right? So you can take that decision, say, look, I'm going to bring this team here that I need, and you may have to interface with the managers so they can give time for their seniors to go work with you, but you have a position higher than he does, right? If you're a distinguished engineer, you're vice president, so you're going to be working with directors, right? Because you have a position higher than they do. So when the company does not have that, it makes your work almost impossible. Because for you to do any meaningful change, you have to convince your manager, to convince his director, to convince the VP, to then get all the people that needs to be done. I mean, that's not going to be done ever. Make sense? That's why those positions are so important. Even if companies that don't have them, you should, if your company doesn't have them, you should start showing those things for your boss, right? That needs to be created. Okay? Yeah. Go ahead, sir. Mm-hmm. And those two here? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is totally true, right? That's why one of the important skills, right, is the whole skill of being able, we call this managing up and down, right? When you get to those positions, you have to be able to manage up, to manage your to your hierarchy above you, and then manage it down to the hierarchy up below you. Now, because that's an interesting thing. Notice that VPs manage directors. Directors manage managers, right? But who manage the principals? It's not the distinguished that manage the principals, because the distinguished don't have management, right? So actually, the distinguished don't manage principals. That's not the hierarchy right here. The VPs manage the distinguished. The directors might manage the principals, right? So there is a confusion here that's not very clear. That's why autonomy is so important. Again, that's why communication is so important, right? Because you have to deal with that, and those are not clear. Guys, again, this staff plus name was defined like 2-3 years ago. Most companies don't even understand what we're talking about here. Those positions here are usually more an HR position, just in terms to give you more salary or less salary. Everything else is up to grabs, guys. That's why you have to go and try to figure out how you're going to do it inside your own company. But you're totally right, man. That raises all kinds. I mean, any of those positions here, guys, it's a lot. There's a lot of politics. There's a lot of conflicts. There's a lot of Oh, actually, that's another one. Really big one. Negotiation. Oh, man. This is like huge, right? That has everything, exactly what you're talking about. Negotiation, the ability to negotiate on this thing here is extremely important. Make sense? Especially for those guys here, right? The marketing guys, this is crazy. Because those guys here have no say on the staff, no say on the management, and they have to gather engineers to go do something for the community, right? Think about that. You know, think about the community manager that has to get, you know, Mary, for example, is a community manager, right? She has to get an engineer that works on the project to come talk to the user group, right? Who pays for that? Who gives the time to the engineer to do that? Who pays for the trip, right? So those guys here go crazy, man. So that's why they have to even be more autonomous, more be able to say, more be able to negotiate. That's what Vinicius is doing right now. You know, he's negotiating with all kinds of teams to be able to be here, right, and help us out. Make sense? So that's another important skill. Okay? Go ahead.
It's interesting when you, I worked at companies where they basically anyone more than senior is just an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Have the entire basically staff, critical distinguished, basically dichotomy based on more or less who you report to.
Mm-hmm.
Reporting to is just kind of like an HR function, like it's the one who just does the final sign off on a lot of HR stuff, but I see that report directly to the CTO with like everyone else has 100 people under them, and they have one or two just engineers, but they report directly to you. I think
Yeah, that's what we do, right? So when this thing's not well defined, because it's not. Look, look, seriously, guys, this is not well defined in any company, right? And again, this is different for two different people in the same company. Those things work differently, right? And so then, if it's not well defined, then that's what happens a lot of times. Right? You get to the guy to a certain level, he's so important for the company that you say, okay, this guy reports to the CEO, right? And then he might become a right arm for the CTO, right? The CEO, because the CEO is working with him to make sure that the things are being done, right? But look, it just gets to a point where you're responsible to whatever you want to do. And that's the where responsibility. Look, responsibility, guys, does not mean you take on more things, right? It just means that you're more responsible for what's going on. So you have to make more better decisions, right? And you make more important decisions, right? Those positions do not necessarily mean that you work more, because that's another thing that developers think a lot, right? That the only way for me to make more money is work more. No, it's not. If you have more influence, you have more impact, you make more money without having to work more. Actually, you might even be working less, right? Because you might, for example, Vinicius is here on having a trip, right? You know, enjoying in Chicago, right? You know, so that's not work, is it? You know, it's like 10 o'clock at night, man. You're just having fun, right? All right, guys. Any more questions? Like one or two last questions, because I need to pass to Vinicius because he has lots of good demos. It's all good. One more. Oh, what path do I follow? So I'm right here, man. I'm in a mixture of those two here, right? I become an independent. Actually, you know. So, first of all, I did become a principal at Sun. I was a director at Sun, right? I built my own company because I do have a consulting company that, we had about like 20 people working on different top projects in Brazil, right? So I have my own consulting company. But I did a lot of consulting in my life. And today, I have my own company where I help you grow your career, right? So I think but that's more like a very small company, right? I work personally with developers. And so I think that those two paths here, everyone should be looking at those. Absolutely everyone. Because you guys will find out more satisfaction, more independence, more autonomy by going a little bit more independent. Doesn't matter what you do in other things, right? You might be working. I have mentees of mine, for example, that they work for big companies, right? You know, the big names that you know, they work for big companies, and they have their own business on the side.
The
Yeah.
hybrid is very important. I think that I'm also hybrid, like I run my ex company as well.
Right.
and have my job. So yeah.
Yeah, so I think that absolutely everyone should be looking. And I also have, actually, thinking about it, I have partnership in lots of different companies now. So, but yeah, but you know, that's what, and that allows me to be here with you guys, for example, right? You know, Mary was saying here, oh, it was like last minute, so that's my fault, right? And I can tell you, you know, me and Vinicius have been talking about doing this trip in November for some time now, but we had another trip organized for DevOps Belgium that did not work out. So Vinicius had to take care of DevOps, and then he went on vacation after DevOps, and I went to run my own events. And then when Vinicius came back from vacation, I said, Vinicius, are we going to go in November or not? He said, yes, let's do it, right? But we have to organize things. And I'm like, okay, but I was right in the middle of my event, right? And then, yes, and then,
Superhero.
but I was okay because I thought, no, because look, we're just gonna go in the second half of November, right? It's all good, man. We have time. I'm gonna work with the user groups. We do whatever we can, not a problem. And then someone, I think it was Silvia, that told me, but Bruno, but that date is Thanksgiving. I'm like, oh no, right? So that's not a holiday that I think about a lot about, right? So then we had to go before Thanksgiving, and that's when I called Mary and said, you know, I called Silvia and Mary, and we talk about, and like, what can we do, right? Is there anything that we can do? And then look what we have here. Amazing, right? It's awesome. Thanks a lot, Mary. Okay, so one last thing I want to do before I go.
We cannot share the screen anymore here for some reason.
Yeah, so I shut it down.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So can
you
you-
need to.
Whiteboard, I'm assuming.
All right, yes. Okay, cool. Yeah, so can you just kind of put it down a little bit here? And then, yes, because I want to give, while he's doing that, so I released it with Heather Van Kura. Heather Van Kura is the head of the JCP, the Java Community Process, the organization that defines the Java technology worldwide, right? So we wrote this book called The Developer Career Master Plan, and it just came out just like less than a month ago. So, and last week, I got from Pact Publishing the permission to give away one chapter for free for everyone, right? So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to give you, so if you come to JAV, I'll put the URL up for you guys. All right. So if you come to this page here, this page here, all right. If you come to this page here, right, and you put your name and email there, I'm going to send to you the first chapter of, the first chapter of the book, the Career Master Plan, right? So the first chapter, guys, is The Secret to Learn About Technology Quickly and Continuously. It's one of the best chapters of the book. We talk about focus. We talk about how to learn in the effective way. We talk about skills versus learning, right? So it's a really, really good chapter. And so if you come here to this URL or this QR code here, you put your name and email, you're going to get that first chapter for free. So, go ahead. Now, there's one thing. I was talking to a guy yesterday, and he said, Bruno, I went on and I clicked there, and I didn't get the book. So if you don't get the book, it's something my fault, but you will get it, right? So it's something that I need to fix because this just happened, right? And so whatever I did, I may have done wrong. So I just need to check. So everyone got this? All right, so now that you got this, there's another one that I want to get. I'm going to give you 2 books here today. How about that, right? So there's another one that is the book that I think is the most important book if you want to grow your career beyond senior. This book here is the book is what I do to grow my career. So right, so I have this process that I do every year, sometimes multiple times a year, to define my next steps and grow my career. So many people ask me how I did that, and so I decided to put my process in a little book. It's a very small book. So if you come to this page here, I'm going to send the book for free, and that one works, right? So that's why I'm giving you 2 right now, because I can guarantee this one works, right? So this page here, right, is going to show you exactly what you need to do, how to plan your career, so you can come here to get that book here too, right? You can get both of them. You're going to receive both, but this one is going to receive immediately. The other one might take me to do something. Maybe I can do while Vinicius is doing his talk. All right? And so now, two things going to happen when you put your name and email here. One, you're going to get an email from me with the book. So you get a free book, right? The second thing that's going to happen is that you're going to get an email from me with the book. So if there's any questions that I did not answer, anything that you wanna help with that is not clear or you could not ask here for whatever reason, you can just reply to that email, and I read all those emails. That's my personal email. So you can just message me and I'll help you out. Okay? All right. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And with that, so this guy here, and actually there's one thing I want to say here. This book here, the one is that I took so long to get my first copy because Pact does not ship a real book to Brazil, right? So it took me a little bit. But this one here is the book that I want to sign. Every single person that participated in the book, I wanted to sign on this book, right? And the first person going to sign this book is Mary, because Mary was interviewed for this book, right? So I'm going to get her signature here because I want to collect the signatures for everyone that's participated in the book. And so this book has lots of interviews with amazing people like Mary and many others, right? So Mary, I want you to sign this book later on, okay? All right. Now, there's a guy that it's my friend for a long time ago, right? I met this guy one time ago when I called him and said, Vinicius, someone told me that you want to learn Java, right? And he said, yeah, I want to learn Java. And I said, I have this very crazy, extremely sophisticated, high-performance project with AGBs that I need someone to help me with, and I need someone that's very good software developer, and I have no problem that you learn Java while you're doing this, right? And so Vinicius came work with me on this
2001.
Yes, on this crazy project for one of the largest banks in Brazil, and a project that to this day still works, right?
Yeah. The connector, we did a connector for mainframe.
For mainframe, right? So absolutely every transaction from the bank would go through our connector, right? And it still works to this day. So this guy is extremely technical, but at the same time, he's really, really, really fun. You know, he has one of the best demos from the industry, right? So if you, Vinicius Sanger, woohoo!
Thank you very much, Bruno. Yeah, Bruno was very important in my career, and I'm really inspired by Bruno for many things, not just in technology, but in life in general. So we are big friends, our families, and everything. Thank you, Bruno. And thanks for this great opportunity. It's kind of hard to speak after Bruno. It should be the opposite, so the bar is can raise. But
You're not sharing.
Okay, on Zoom. Okay, perfect. So host a disable participant screen sharing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it looks like, good to go. Good to go. Desktop 2, right, share. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect, all right. So I'm here to share my passion with technology and with Java and with personal things that I do in my life, like cooking and surfing. So it's been a special year for me because I completed 30 years working with software development, and then I was transferred from Brazil to California, which is a dream for every programmer and surfer. So I'm riding the best waves of my life. I survived the Sharktober. I just noticed that they call Sharktober this October because it's sharky. And so I'm working 6 years. I just completed this week 6 years at AWS, and I love to do hardware and do-it-yourself projects. When Java Sun was in a bad time and Oracle just acquired Sun, I said I need to give a break from Java and do something else. I was working with J2E, Java EE, banks, and all the enterprise stuff, and I want to have more fun. And then I go to the IoT space. It was starting, Arduino and things like that. SunSpot at that time, a small device that was really ahead of time. And then I come back to Java, and I created the J-Home automation, the first home automation based on Java EE. And I hacked all the conferences because I just got all my papers approved because it was something really different. And I used to turn on lights, coffee machines using EJBs, and the people just got crazy with that. So I love to code, I love to surf, I love to cook, and I love music. My wife is a professional musician. I'm not, I'm just play for fun. But I really believe that we are all surfers. We are all surfers. Instead of having a surfboard, we have a laptop. Instead of surfing a physical wave, we surf of virtual waves. And technologies, they just came as waves. If we look at the history, after the space race, we created the transistor, and because of transistor, we created the computers, the personal computers, and we have more and more computers, and then the internet just came. We migrated from text user interface to graphical user interface. We migrate from DOS to Windows, and it was all big waves that you could surf. Like our career is very hard to keep on top, so don't be scared if you are going down a little, because the life is sinusoidal. Like, it's not linear. And you need to learn how to surf when you are going up and when you are going down. If you look at companies like Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, and all the big companies, they cannot stay like for so long in the top. Look at AWS, we were the top. And now it's the market is getting more competitive. So we need to learn how to surf the waves. And sometimes it's just a matter of waiting for a new wave, like containers and Kubernetes. Oh man, what a big wave was that. And it started in a very discrete way. It was a small wave, but you can ride for years the same wave. So pay attention on the technologies and think that you can have big waves or tsunamis. Like for me, generative AI is a tsunami, it's not a big wave. It will change our life and the way we do our jobs forever. I surfed like IoT, I'm still surfing Java for 20 years. So Java was a very big wave, but more than big, it's a long wave that I can keep surfing this wave and surf another bigger waves, shorter waves. So choose your wave and be prepared for surfing big waves in technology. So being here is the better example of being prepared to surf technology waves. And Java is a long wave, big wave in 2000 because it was all about Java and .NET. Now we have hundreds of programming languages, but Java, I don't know how people like to say Java is dying, Java just is dead. Come on, we will die before COBOL. We all will die before COBOL. Don't imagine that you will die like after Java. So, and Java is really everywhere. That's the thing that I think is the most amazing thing. For enterprises, for cloud services, sometimes you are using a cloud service, behind that cloud service is a Java application. Embedded, like we have the NASA project, the Mars rover, we have many IoT devices running Java in agriculture and other industries. We had phones running Java, different programming languages. huge open source surfboards, yeah.
James Gosling.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So the huge open source ecosystem, and my favorite thing from Java is this, the Java community. The Java community is so strong and it's so different. I can tell you, I work with .NET specialist, Python specialist, AI/ML specialist, and there is no stronger community than Java in my team. So I think that we are more than a community. I feel like being in a family, and sometimes it's more my family than my real family. So it's very beautiful. And one thing that I was surprised when I joined AWS is that the love from Amazon and AWS for Java. Most of our softwares, we are using Java. We have tens of thousands Java application in production. If you use AWS, probably 50% of the chance of the service that you are using, maybe DynamoDB, maybe RDS, we are using Java somehow to create the service. So just one Slack channel that I'm part of, we have 5,000 Java developers, internal Java developers. So we really love Java at Amazon and at AWS, and it's our main programming language. And beside that, we hire James Gosling because we started using so much Java that in 2017, we had the need to create our own distribution of JDK because we have so specific workloads with Java that the regular GCs won't work for us. And many other things like logging, synchronous logging, it doesn't work for us. We need to do logging asynchronous. So we hired James Gosling, and I'm working really close. This is the message that I sent a year ago when I moved to California, and he's always saying this. Sorry for the late reply. I am heads down working on a demo. It's amazing. The big advantage of being a distinguished engineer is things like that, you know? So you can keep creating demos. And James Gosling is a very big contributor for our Java distribution and for many strategies. Sometimes it's hard to know what he's doing because it's always confidential stuff. And then one thing that we created is Amazon Corretto, which is the product that I like most to evangelize because it's open source, it's for free, you don't need to opt in or give any information like your email to nothing. You can use SDKman to download Corretto, and it's the same version that we use in production with Amazon. So look that we have the big advantage of creating some innovation in our JVM, trying it on Amazon website, and if it succeeds, then we can push the code to the community. So this is a very nice way to grow a technology inside AWS. And for me as a developer advocate, I love Corretto because I'm not too related with sales. We are always trying to sell something, but so it's optimized for Graviton and other ARM processors. We are giving back to the community all the things that we do for ARM processors because we are investing a lot to have more sustainable workloads with Java, and we are doing a lot of this. So Java is also one of the most sustainable programming language. You can check this article, and we have this ranking. And it's impressive what I see behind the scenes at AWS. Numbers, when we just migrated from Java 11 to Java 17. Imagine a service. Let's say that I am not saying that, okay? But imagine that we use Java for CloudWatch, for example, the biggest logging system in the world. Like it's huge. And then just migrating from Java 11 to Java 17, we shut down thousands of EC2 instances that we use to host the service. And then we are saving a lot of energy, and we are saving money, and we are reducing the prices for our customers. So Java, just if you can update to a newer JVM version, just do it. I don't know if 21 is ready by now for your workload. Go there and test. Sometimes it's better to wait like 3 to 4 months to start using the newer Java versions. That's our experience migrating to the new versions. But it's amazing to see how we are saving energy just moving from one version to another version. And this is something that makes me proud because I'm really worried and about sustainability. So we also have modern Java. So I am from Java EE. Bruno and I, we did entity beans with CMP, BMP. Now, we start doing at this bank Corba stuff. We were replacing another company that they were trying Corba, which is from many things from IBM. It was really ahead of time, the technology, but it was complex. And yeah, but that it was a lot of work to build a complete J2EE application. And now we have like Quarkus. For me, Quarkus, I'm investing in Quarkus the last year. And I'm amazed, like I feel like, wow, Java just reborn somehow. And like in 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 lines of code, you can have a simple application with connection for DynamoDB. You can pack as a fat jar, as we call as fat jar, and you can deploy in our Lambda services. So it's not a function. You deploy your complete Java application as a fat jar and run as serverless, pay as you go. So with Quarkus, it's very easy and simple to do this kind of thing. So most of my examples and demos, I usually do it using Quarkus. And the things are changing. Generative AI for me is the big wave. This is a real image. This guy is riding a foil board. This technology, it was just possible to develop this kind of way to go into the water and fly in the water. You are flying, and it was possible because of artificial intelligence. Without artificial intelligence, all the math behind the foil board wouldn't be ready in less than 10 years, you know. So they really can simulate everything. So AI is already changed our lives. So when you have Uber, the path that they choose is based on AI predictions, and Airbnb the same. But generative AI for me is another big wave that's changing the way we code with code assistant like GitHub Copilot, Amazon Code Whisperer. I don't feel that I can code anymore without these guys. Not because I'm not smart enough, but I don't want to do like YAML files for CloudFormation anymore. The artificial intelligence can do it for me for free, you know? I want to have fun coding. And YAML file is the opposite. Yeah? How we modernize our workloads. So Java, 25 years, beautiful. There are many companies running on Java 8, and they are struggling. Include my company in Brazil. We are struggling to move from Java 8 because it's not just Java 8. Someone there choose to use JBoss, which is a terrible legacy to have in your environment production. So, but generative AI will change the way we will modernize our workloads, the way we test our software, the way we prepare talks. And you can see the images that I'm using here that were generated by generative AI. It's very clear, the beautiful ones. The way we learn. And actually, I like this parallel, the way we surf. I just moved to California, and I'm going to the water 3 times per week, and I am seeing the surf reborning with all the foil equipments. We are not riding, we are flying the waves and not surfing the waves anymore. And it's amazing to see the relation that we have between technology and surf. So, talking about code assistant, we have Amazon Code Whisperer that is very similar. Who here is using GitHub Copilot? Okay. Anyone using Code Whisperer? I don't. No? Okay. So this is the way we code now. So sometimes coding, you have a lot of boilerplate code. You have like repetitions, like find by address, find by email, find by this, find by that, find by address and email. This kind of coding with generative AI is it's very easy and very simple to create this kind of application. And it's amazing how you are providing context, and it starts helping you more and more and more and more. If you have documentation, Javadoc, now we will see the power of documenting our code because it's a kind of meal for the intelligence. So I'm really working hard on Code Whisperer because I think that we have other options in the market, but we have the free version. The free version, you can use the same thing as the professional version, but if you need to turn off like I don't want to share my code with AWS. You need to go there and click in one checkbox. The professional, you don't need to do that. We don't share the code with AWS. And the professional, you also have another way to authenticate the users and monitor how your employees are using Code Whisperer. Train it on billions of lines of code. Java is our main programming language, so Code Whisperer is very expert on Java. You can have okay, this piece of code is coming from where? What is the source of this code? Sometimes you are worried about it. Yeah? You can limit the open source license. I don't want to work with MIT licenses, and I don't want any suggestion that was trained based on any kind of MIT license. So you can train your custom model in the professional version, so you can say, oh, that's the way I like to write my code, and that's the way, that's the sample of the suggestions that I want, this style of code that I want to be suggested. And you have security scanning. So give a try, not just with Code Whisperer. Give a try with Code Assistant. Give a try on GitHub Copilot. It's a very nice tool as well. Yeah, in the yeah, because look, your code will travel to AWS data center to do the inference. It will be traveling anyway, so traveling to our data center. But like other tools, they store the code and then keep improving the model based on your code, if it's for free. And then we have like news that, oh, my code just leaked, or like secrets or access keys just leaked. And so that's the concern about it. So we use the code to make optimizations, but not to train our own model. We use the code we store to see that was the user code that what we suggested, and he accepted. And then, okay, that's something that we collect as an information to improve our service. But we don't feed the model with your code. That's the point. No, no, no. No. And then you can turn off, even like I don't want to share the performance statistics with AWS. I don't want to share anything with AWS. So you can set up for this on the free version. In the professional, by default, is turn it off. Okay? So coding assistant, give a try on GitHub Copilot. I can share a presentation that I did, a matrix with all the features. I'm really studying this as a, not just as AWS, but as a Java developer. What is best for Java developers, you know? The other thing that we are doing for generative AI is the Amazon Bedrock, that you can choose more than 20 different foundation models to use, and then you can create your own ChatGPT, for example. Or you can create your generative AI service based on our foundation models. We are working on creating Java content around generative AI for you. And we are working on creating the APIs for all the services. And if you want to play with generative AI and Java, we have this GitHub repo that we created. Look here, what is Lua? And who is Bruno Souza? But if I ask, who is Bruno Souza, without asking what is Lua, said, oh, I don't have enough context. So just because I ask about a programming language, it's impressive. Like how smart it is. Huh?
Now, very interesting thing.
Oh, go ahead.
No. This really shows how important it is, this whole notion of AI. AI is a fancy bullshitter. We have to understand that. It creates things. Notice here, what is Lua? Context. Who is Bruno Souza, Brazilian computer scientist, blah, blah, who is one of the core developers of the Lua programming language.
Okay.
Right? He has a founding member, the first president of Lua.org. Right? He has a number of books about Lua, including programming Lua. Right?
It make a mistake with the guy that created that.
No, because there's no Bruno Souza. The guy that created Lua is another guy.
He's another guy.
I know
but
him,
he
right?
just mixed it, right?
It's just them insane, right? So it's a bullshitter, right?
Uh-huh.
So you have to understand
the problem
that,
is
right?
cheat in, cheat out.
Look here. He's currently a professor at PUC here in the Department of Informatics.
Right? It's even worse. the Lua creator just died.
Yes.
He's dead.
And he's not named Bruno Souza, by the way.
That's true, bro. That's true. I didn't. Yeah. I tried it today again, the same demo, and I asked what is Lua and who is Bruno Souza, and then no, it isn't context enough. And then I say, who is Bruno Souza from Java? And then, okay, and then start to describe. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. Now, you chase me. Let's see. Okay, so here we have the chat. I'm running this in my machine, but doing the inferences. Let me change the screen here. Okay, new share. Okay, desktop one, that's good. All right, so what is Lua? I love to do demos with generative AI because it is all the time is different, yeah. No. Lua, okay, wow, a bigger response. Who is Bruno Souza? Okay. Allah, look. You still think that you are the creator.
No.
But now it's bigger response.
No. Look, I think that's interesting. Very interesting here, right?
Gee.
Notice how he makes it. He organized the first Lua conference in 2004. That was a really big Java conference that we did in 2004, right? I don't even think that, yes? So, yeah. All right. Anyway.
Yeah. Who is Bruno Souza?
I don't. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, exactly.
Come on, babe. Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Same thing. Now, now.
No, and Java. Como que é orgulhoso que fala inglês, né?
Proud.
He's proud guy.
Yes.
He's founder of So Java. So Java, he was the
Lua
one.
and Java. Lua and Java.
Lua
right?
and Java.
Yes.
He's not giving back. Like, okay, no, trust me. Yeah, he worked. Yeah, but now it's better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
if I start from scratch, that was fun.
Lies the problem with AI, right?
Yes.
You need AI explainability to be able to
Yeah.
take decisions.
You know.
This is for fun. But
Right.
say you're taking a decision for insurance. Now it's a problem because you're gonna get sued. For
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but providing context is something really like if you are using any GitHub Copilot or Code Whisperer, you don't expect like do this for me. Like you need to write like big sentences in the beginning, and the more code you have, the better will be the explanation. That's a nice way to show how AI without context can be really dangerous, you know?
Right.
But we call it, since the deep learning, we used to call as shit in, shit out. If you have bad data, bad intelligence. There is no secret, right?
One more question. So, does Amazon has any plan to release something like Llama 2 that we can, a model that we can run locally, not using any form of AWS or cloud resource? Everything runs locally, and the queries, the prompts, and the results are never leaving our network. Is there something like that coming up?
Look,
That we
is,
can talk about.
yeah, it's a big need. It's a big need. We are really, we understood that many companies, especially in US and Europe, is very, very restricted. Like they don't want the code to travel to US. And like Code Whisperer, at this time we just have Code Whisperer being hosted in US data centers. And then the companies, I was there at Devox in the booth showing Code Whisperer, and 80% of the attendees, they said, okay, I cannot even test this because it's traveling the code. I don't care if it's not matter of storing the code, but traveling outside Europe. So we see this need, but you know, the models can be really complex and you may need a big machine. But if you look at our history, we were like, okay, AWS is all about cloud, and then today we have Outposts. Outposts is a small AWS data center that you can bring inside your company with the same hardware, with the same console management system, and then, like, I think that is a need.
Sounds like you're re-engineering the mainframe.
Yeah. And if you look at the computer history, we distribute and then we centralize. We distribute and then we centralize. Like cloud is a very centralized data center. When you say, I'm going to put everything in the cloud.
And now we're back to edge, which is just
Edge computing, yeah. In IoT space, we have the same need, like, okay, we need to run the models and the trained models inside the industry machineries, and then we need to deploy there. So that's not something public, but I can tell you that is, for me, is a natural path of making progress with these products based on the customer's feedback. But we are not in the right time for doing that yet. Okay? Well, oops, no. Sorry. And
Let's chat afterwards. I have some answers for you.
Nice, yes.
You're also working on things, right?
is there someone using Quarkus here? Nobody? That's another interesting wave to surf is Quarkus. I did this Java example for Quarkus that you can bring to Spring Boot or Micronode or Jakarta E, whatever you want. Okay, this is the things that are happening on the enterprise space. But most of the Java developers don't know how you can really have fun with Java. There are many artists using Java. There is a framework called puredata.org that you can do like artistic installations, or you can use at shows to react to music and blink lights in the show. And there are many people using. There are a conference, PDConf, that is a big conference, and it's all based on Java. And for me, I like my projects. I used to own an old Volkswagen bus in Brazil, that the name was Alexa Combi. And then what I did here, I had a Raspberry Pi OBD2 sensor that I could read my engine information. This is old, but not too old. I have injection here, electronic injection, so I could read like many information from the engine. And I have a solution called, in the same line, IoT Greengrass. That is from AWS, that you install IoT Greengrass in your Raspberry Pi, and then you can download things from the cloud to your old car and run locally. So yeah, so you can run Lambdas functions, you can run containers, Docker container. Imagine pushing a Docker container to your old Volkswagen bus. That's what I did. And ML models, you can train machine learning models and then do local inferences in your edge device. So I used this during the pandemic to do my talks. And here I was presenting a talk inside. And I used to drive, do live demos driving the comp, so very risky. So this is something different from enterprise workload. And this is another one, processing.org is a very old graphical domain-specific language for Java. A professor created this processing to teach artists how to write code and have like a sound processing, graphical processing, and things like that. So what I did here, I downloaded a library called Mining that can do fast Fourier transform to convert signals to frequencies. It's very user. Fast Fourier transform is behind everything. So it's a very important math. So what I did here, I put some music and I do notes detection, and then I send to our IoT services. And it's very easy. It's easy like this way. Apply fast Fourier in my microphone, do the plot this chart, and then look at the frequency. So here is the frequency, the standard frequency for each note, instrument note. For here I have the acoustic guitar chord, so for each one. So you are playing the acoustic guitar this way. So, and then in terms of architecture, instrument can be your voice, processing, IoT messages to our IoT service, and then to my IoT device here that I have one of these that I built myself, and then I turn on and turn off lamps. My friends used to say, you don't like to use regular switch. And I said, no, it's too old. So let me demo very quick here because we are kind of running out of time soon. So I have this sketch, we call it as a sketch, and let me stop the presentation again, and then I can show it here. Okay. Oh, all right. Here we go. So it worked very well. Yeah. So this is Java. This is Java, pure Java. It's very easy to understand and to write code for this. Well, and the other thing that I really love, Minecraft and Roblox. So I helped, I was a volunteer for Devox for Kids in California, the first one, I think that 12 years ago, and now we are trying to reactivate Devox for Kids, and we can run some workshop for kids using the CJUG as well. Just let me know. I did a Roblox game called JCastle. JCastle is a sample application at Roblox that you can create your own games based on quiz. So I have a Quarkus backend to manage the quiz, and then I show how you can open doors from the castle if you answer the correct thing, and then how you can create the dynamic inside the game. And I did some IoT integration with Roblox, AI integration, and also I put everything together. So now I'm going to run the Roblox demo.
Roblox is it Java now?
Roblox is Lua.
Your
That-
other.
Yeah,
Your brother,
brother.
your other creation. So here just to show, I pay for having AWS t-shirts inside Roblox, and that's amazing. And then, like you can see here, the question, oops. Just 1 minute to make it better reading. Okay. Anyone knows what is the signature, the binary signature with the initial bytes for the dot class files? We have here Java 1, Java, Oak, or Café Babe. That's the binary signature for the class files. Number 4, Café Babe. Yeah. So if I click here in the answer number 4, we will see that the gate will start opening here. And then inside the castle, I will not show everything, but you have another place that you need to discover and close the door. And here it's asking what is the version, recommended Java version today. Java 8, 11, at that time it was 17. And then you can see that the castle, we start closing the door, and then you can go to other places in the castle and solve the quiz, and then you can use this to create your own game inside your company for HR, for security, for anything that you need to prove that you learn and watch a video, and then you learn in a very different way. And so now, let's see another thing. So let me grab my uke and play this guy here. Okay. Hat. Light off, hat off. So that's another way to integrate everything. And then, last one. Here I can say IoT lamp on. Okay. I will explain why it took so long, because here I'm using Lua API for DynamoDB that is the only available for Roblox. And then to turn on the lamp, I need to send MQTT message. But I don't have API for Lua for IoT service. So what I did, a big workaround, we call it in Brazil as gambiarra. I wrote to a DynamoDB table, like lamp on, and then I use DynamoDB streams that you can say anything that arrive here trigger a Lambda function. And then I trigger the Lambda function. And then I send the IoT message. But the Lambda function was in a cold start situation. So we need to turn on the container, turn on the JVM, and it's a better response because we have the snap start to avoid cold start. We reduce it for 4 seconds to 500 milliseconds, the cold start. So, but it's still taking some time. Probably now, if I do it again, faster, right? Because you can see the cold start in a lamp. Isn't it amazing? Like you see the cold start. Lamp off. Okay. And then the last one for Roblox is that this one is in Python. It's a Python script. I could do in Java. Just take more time. Where is my hat? Here we go. So yeah, every Java developer is a Python developer. Not, the opposite is not true. Python script developer at least, not a Python developer. But this is a Python script using Amazon Rekognition. And then I have a camera taking pictures. And then I can recognize objects. And then you can imagine what I'm going to do here. Yeah, here I am. Roblox. And then, okay. Come on, guy. Ah, okay, good. So yeah, we have everything together here. This is a nice place for teaching students, for having workshops, for having hackathons, for learning any kind of cool technology, like a hackathon to integrate generative AI inside Roblox. Now I'm working on a ChatGPT inside the ChatGPT using Amazon Bedrock, so you can use the chat from the Amazon, from the Roblox. I have another comment like IoT temperature, so it will say the temperature from the sensor here. I will do a command called Bedrock, and then I can ask anything and have the ChatGPT coming, ChatGPT style coming here. So yeah, the good thing here is my demos, your demos. So it's all available for you to replicate. Question?
I wanted to ask, what was the image detection that you were using?
Amazon Rekognition. Amazon Rekognition. So I love this image that I said, create an image with all the things that has in my talk. And then, wow, it's beautiful, huh? So
that was generated?
uh-huh.
That image?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's impressive.
That's it.
Yeah. Now it's really impressive. Put it on the screen.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Thanks. So you just put
But my
bunch of
demos,
words.
your demos, you wrote.
No, I said that I have this phrase, and then I asked it, and put the AWS logo. No, the AWS logo I cannot do because it's copyright. So, but it's nice, yeah. We have mentions for the instrument, for the fast Fourier someplace, for Java. Look at the coffee here is because of Java.
But it's not putting the logos, it's putting a couple of jobs.
Yeah, because the logo, yeah, that's.
Were the other images generated too?
Huh?
The other images at the beginning?
Uh-huh, yeah.
Generated?
Yeah, all the images in this style, the good images from my presentation. Yeah, so I was tired to create like, this you find in this blog post, and I keep doing blog posts, LinkedIn blog posts, but then I said, I need to centralize everything in some place. And then I create this Java Academy where I try to put everything that I'm creating at AWS related to Java and make it available for you. So here we have like the basic introduction, like learn oriented object programming, and creating your, setuping your machine, database, SQL, NoSQL, graph, and other types of database, graph database, serverless, and then the Quarkus Roblox workshop is the newer one that I just presented for the first time at Divox, Belgium. And then learning Quarkus is a big thing that we use. We are creating this content together with Red Hat. We have the Red Hat Developer Advocate for Quarkus helping a lot on our Quarkus projects. And now I'm looking for volunteers to translate what I did with Quarkus to Jakarta E, Spring, and Spring we have someone doing, and Micronom. And then we have all the Java and IoT games with Java. Here we have all the things that I did with Minecraft in the past. So that's my central content repository. Inside, we created a new reference application called PiggyBank. You can use in production to manage your personal expenses and banking accounts. So that's my favorite topic because I know that we need to help developers to learn how to code, but we need to learn to teach developers how to manage their money as well, because that's something that most of my friends, at least, they are not good. And I say, okay, I'm going to create a solution. And what I did, I'm not good on user interface beside Roblox, so I create the user interface inside Roblox. You can walk and check your banking accounts inside Roblox, and that's a different approach, you know. And here, if you have a negative balance, it starts wearing a hat, like just to show this kind of integration. So the good thing is that on this Java Academy, we are using a platform called Workshop Studio from AWS. So any of these workshops, you as a professor, as a user group leader, or you are doing a hackathon and you want to run any of these workshops, you can just send me a message and I can configure up to 100 temporary AWS accounts without any credit card. So you can use and run for 3 days all you can need. So you can use for free. And I'm really happy because 6 years ago, it was something that we were fighting a lot. Like, oh, we don't want developers to put their own personal credit card. And we are still fighting against, like, we need to have some, not just free tier. We use the concept of free tier, but when you finish your free tier, you start paying. And it's one-way door. And then we are, little by little, having more and more tools that you can use AWS for free up to 3 days. So this is something that gives us a lot of freedom to do this kind of thing. And now I am allowed to do for any user group, like, I want to run the Roblox workshop. So I can set up everything. And in December, we are going to have a Train the Trainer workshop. And then we will go to this guy, complete, like development setup, Roblox setup, creating the Quarkus gaming API, the backend, so creating the entity, the REST, DynamoDB and everything, deploying as serverless, and then creating the Java Castle and understanding a little about Lua and Roblox and DynamoDB, a lot of sample codes here, AI camera with Python, and sound detection with fast Fourier transform. So as I mentioned, my demos, your demos. Bruno knows me very well. In the past, I used to do my demos, and oh, that's nice. How I can replicate? Almost impossible, too complex. Even myself, I will not be able to replicate this demo in another laptop, you know. So now I'm really taking care to have my stuff published forever, or until it's useful. So we are planning some dates here. We will have 3 different classes on these dates. And then all the things that I want to share with you, I created, today I'm trying this new concept. Like instead of putting the links here, I created a LinkedIn post with all the links. So if I remember another one, I can update. And you can check this LinkedIn page that I will continue to feed this link page. One of the links is the link that you said, I am interested in participating Java workshops. And then I will notify you about our workshops that we are running for free. And then you can contact me if you want to replicate the workshops in your university, in your company, in your user group, whatever. In your house with your family. And so we have a little time for more questions. I know that you were doing the questions during the talk. Any other question related to Roblox, to the integration, or AWS?
How were you interacting with your van? I saw that you connected to the OBD2 scanner, right?
Uh-huh.
Why don't you use a microphone?
Hello? Good? Oh. I saw that you connect to the OBD2 scanner. Were you able to like run it lean, run it more rich, or like what was the
So the OBD2 was a USB device. The most popular are the Bluetooth one, but I managed to find a USB. In the end of the day, it was a serial connection for Java.
Okay.
So I used RxTX library to establish the communication, and then I sent like AT commands to the OBD2 to get the data from the sensors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you able to like increase the
No.
No.
My car is too old. Probably the electric cars may allow it to do, but it can be dangerous. But no.
Okay.
I saw some people that like they use a servo motor and they do something like that to control the speed and crazy stuff. Yeah, no, I just did the basic one. My idea was for predictive maintenance. Grabbing the data, and I have accelerometer. I could notice like how was the revolutions per minute versus the accelerometer, and I thought that would be very interesting for predictive maintenance, because we usually change the oil based on the kilometers or the miles.
or the hours on the engine?
Or the hours, but then sometimes you can have like many hours working in a very high revolution, and you may need to change earlier.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it was an old car, and the the most important feature was to alarm when the engine was too hot, because you can have fire in this kind of old Volkswagen vans. So taking care about temperature is really, really, really critical in this kind of car. And then I have like I have the recorded speech, and then it just say, oh, okay, turn off the engine, temperature too high, and then it never trigger. I'm proud about it because I take care about my car. But yeah, that was the idea, but I couldn't control anything else. And OBD2 is a very generic protocol, but each company implement like specific message. Like to get the revolution is a standard command. All cars must have. But then if you have airbags, you can have specific commands for the airbags. If you have 2 airbags, 6 airbags, and then start being very like, can vary from car to car, the OBD2 and all the beautiful standard protocol.
That's like the ultimate IoT project, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But it was really fun. I like this kind of way of learning new things, mixing a passion with technology, and I always find an excuse for doing this. Now I'm trying to use generative AI to have a better prediction of the places that I'm going to surf based on micro weather, because California, you drive 10 miles, you have a different weather. It's impressive, the micro weather there. So yeah, and then for surfing, it's really hard to predict which place is the best one.
I know the National Weather Service, because they support a lot of nautical
just on the weather thing, have you worked with any of the National Weather Service nautical weather APIs, which offers really low details about wind and wave conditions?
Mm-hmm.
Since I'm just curious.
Yeah, well, NOAA is the ultimate source.
Yeah, no, not
All-
yeah.
all
Yeah,
weather.
that's what I mean, NOAA. Yeah.
Yeah, NOAA, NWS, right?
Yep.
So they're the ultimate source of all the weather.
Mhm.
They're getting feeds from all over the world.
Yep.
So,
Well, they actually have.
and I actually work with the NWS.
Oh.
Yeah, well, we can talk about
Yeah.
it later. So,
And so that's my contact, Twitter and my email. I am also really hard user on LinkedIn if you want to chat or interact. And I'm Brazilian, so I live 10 minutes from San Francisco Airport. If you are planning to go there, just drop me a line and we can do a barbecue together. Or if you want to try some surfing, I really like to have friends visiting because I just moved from Brazil, where it's party almost every day, to California. That I live in a city called San Bruno, and nothing happens there. And sometimes I'm afraid that I will open my door and I will see someone in pause because it's so so different. So please give me a good excuse for doing a barbecue for you if you visit California. Thanks again for hosting us in a so short time. And thanks IBM, thanks Ron for everything. It's been amazing, and I'm really happy to be in Chicago for the second time. Looking forward to go to the Buddy Guy place.
You should go there.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any music tonight, but yeah.
Yeah, I heard that the food is a good.
Music, by the way.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Iron Maiden. I'll see. Next time you should get an autograph.
Okay, thank you everybody. Let's keep in touch.
So guys, there's a little story that I want to talk about really quick, so we can finish this. Vinicius is a rock star at Java 1, right? So he has, oh, sorry. All right. Okay. Cool. So Vinicius is a rock star at Java 1 because of his demos, right? And Vinicius always tries to do this crazy demos that's like impossible that everything's going to work. And it's amazing that it does work, right? And you just saw just a little piece because we're traveling for so long. And now, interesting enough, I'm also a rock star at Java 1, right? Because I participate on Vinicius' talk, right?
That was a great.
But the funny thing is that I wasn't at the talk,
That's
right?
true.
Because if you watch the talk, I'm not there. The guy is actually there is Juggy.
Juggy.
Hey guys, how you doing? So Juggy, so good to see you. Neri, so good to see you. So great. So Juggy is the mascot for Java User Groups. That's me. Thank you. Good tonight. Nice to see you. And so on that particular talk, I got Rockstar, not you. Yes, he got Rockstar, not me, but he was not registered as a talk. Yes, man, good to see you there again. So, and one of the reasons why we did Juggy, right, is because we wanted the Java User Groups to be, to have free access to information. And at that time, Duke, the Java mascot, was copyrighted, right, was trademarked. Yes, and then I showed up, and I'm free. Yes, Juggy, you're free. Right? So it's so good to be here with you. Java User Groups are the real Java community. That's where developers really do meet. So thanks, everyone, for being here. Thanks a lot, Mary, for being here. Thank you, guys. I really love to be here with you. And see you. Mary, let's take a picture near you. OK, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right, thank you. Do you want to finish here, Mary? Come on. Just. Yes.
Yeah. Take the mic.
Yes. And if you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer too. Yeah, Jake, they don't have questions about you for you, man.
Yeah, don't have much question, but thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so
Jackie.
much.
Yes,
Thank
you. And thank you everyone too for coming and for Vinicius coming all the way and from California. Bruno from Brazil. So thank you, and thank you to everyone who
Yes,
come out.
and we are happy to
So,
stay a little
thanks,
longer.
Ron.
If anyone has any question, want to come up
Yeah,
and
we
talk,
can
thanks a
hang
lot.
out.
Thanks a lot. Thanks
Thank
again
you,
for IBM.
Ron, and for
Thank you, Ron.
IBM.
Yes, great,
Yeah.
Dan. Great, man. Thanks a lot. Thanks, IDN. You guys rock a lot. Yes, thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's great. Oh, woohoo.
Thank
yes.
you.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, I forgot about the raffles. Oh my God.
Oh, the raffle.
The raffle,
Yes,
yeah.
I
Okay.
won. I won everything then. All right.
If anybody, I think only one person signed up for that raffle.
Just one person signed up. It was me. I won. I signed up, so I got it. It's me. Hey, Nan. Good to see you there. So, Juggy, what are you gonna raffle? I think it is an IntelliJ license. No one wants IntelliJ license. I think everyone has already IntelliJ license.
I actually didn't do it because I won one.
Oh, you won one already. Okay, cool. That's good. Congratulations, man. All right. So you're there watching us. We are just here making fun, and you should come here this way, right here, because it's a lot funner, a lot better to be here in person. That's it. All right. Good. Okay. Cool. So good night. Woohoo. Good.